Reggie, good morning from Toronto. How you doing today?
Really great, thanks. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for this series. It is jam-packed with good stuff. I'm really enjoying it. And I want to ask you, first of all, I mean, you've given us so many great things. How did you get involved with this one?
Well, Brian Grazer and Kevin Durant met somewhere in Italy. There was some sort of conference out there,
Yeah,
and they had a conversation about doing a show loosely inspired by KD's youth basketball days.
right.
So I got a call from Francie Calfo, who was working with Imagine Entertainment at the time, and they asked me to just take a meeting with KD, and I met with him. Really fell in love with his journey, his story, the stories about camaraderie and all the challenges that youth basketball players face on and off the court, and
Right.
all in.
Yeah, and as I said, I mean, it's not just about basketball. I mean, there's a lot of drama. There's a lot going on this show. How hard was it for you to kind of find that balance between the two?
Well, I think it was part of the fun of it, part of the joy. I mean, I'm a father of a son who went through the youth basketball circuit, and my high school senior is, on the same path with baseball,
Right.
and so this sort of there's a really big pull on me in terms of being a father. But as well, I was raised by a single parent mom who was loving and supportive and tough at times. Um, and my wife played basketball. And so all this sort of, the females in the world, the males in the world, like all of that, I just had a great time with my writing staff of dealing with and telling their stories, and it was just really been a great experience.
Yeah, and tell me a little bit about the camaraderie between the guys on on the show. I mean, you have such great cast on this show. The young ones, boy, are they ever amazing? Was it kind of like an instant camaraderie? Did you get them all on the court together to bond them, or how did that work?
I mean, I think that because of everything we went through on the show, we started off before there was a pandemic, and then the
Yeah.
pandemic was something we had to deal with. There was a great sense of family created, behind the cameras, which I think shows up on screen. Um, Isaiah Hill plays Jace Carson, our lead character, and his best friend Crystal is played by Janae Wallace, and
Yes.
their camaraderie is real, and all the other characters. And so I think that I was just really blessed to not just have like great, talented actors, but just great people.
Yeah, and I want to ask you, speaking of that, about our Canadian boy, Solomon Arama, because he really hadn't done that much before this show. And there's a lot piled on that boy. I had the opportunity to talk to him a few weeks ago. What a nice kid. What surprised you about him?
What surprised me about Solomon is just like every week he just felt like he grew another inch. Number one. But
Probably did.
um, but what while Solomon hadn't done tons of acting before, he just inherently has a lot of truth and sensitivity and vulnerability, and to be able to gain his trust so that that can be brought on screen was very satisfying. And I just think he's really great, and he's sort of like the biggest, toughest guy, in our cast, and has as much vulnerability as anyone.
Yeah, it's interesting because the word swagger can mean so many things. And ultimately, I think the show is about a team coming together, having each other's backs. So, what does swagger mean to you, Reggie?
Well, I mean, I think that you're right when you say it's about a team coming together. For us, swagger is about having a cause bigger than yourself. So
Right.
whether that cause is your team, your family, your community, it's that cause bigger than yourself that gives you that strength and fortitude to go on and persevere.
Yeah. Well, it's like I say, thank you so much for the show. It really is so fantastic. And what a pleasure having the opportunity to talk to you today. Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Take care, Reggie. Bye bye.
Bye bye.